credit debit system. He said, so the laser tattoo is being applied to animals, but it's only temporary. He said, for human beings, we have already developed a microchip that is smaller than a grain of rice that is injectable under the skin using a normal hypodermic. It will be non-toxic. It will be enclosed in a thin membrane. It is designed to last all your life. And on this microchip will be all of the information about you. And when you are paid, simply you will be scanned by a wand, and whatever the pay is will be credited to your account. And when you purchase things, you will simply be scanned by the wand, and whatever it is you want to purchase will be debited to your account. He said this is a wonderful concept. It is a wonderful system. He said it gets rid of crime and drugs because, he said, it gets rid of money. And money is the root of all evil. And I just paused and said, isn't love? No, he said, don't be technical. If we get rid of money, we have gotten rid of crime and drugs. Can you see the President of the United States in the form of Bill Clinton or George Bush saying that? If we get rid of money, we get rid of crime and drugs. Why do you think? Now, this is one of the new, I don't have many of them, this is a $100 Federal Foreign Reserve note. Was that a Freudian slip? I don't think so. This has a metal strip. I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you were me and you look right up here, going right across this number, there is a metal strip that goes through the new currency. It is in the hundreds, in the 50s. It's going to be put in the 20s. It's already in the 50s and the hundreds. It's going to be put in the 10s, but not the 5s and the 1s. They're too small. Why is the metal strip being put in there? Well, as we walk through the metal detectors in the airports, it's for security. They can determine whether or not you have anything on that might be used as a weapon. When we go to the cashless system, people are going to try and hoard American currency all over the world because American currency is a world standard. I'll tell you what, this stuff spins everywhere, but American currency is second. And if you have currency, this is just like having a transponder in an aircraft. It gives off a signal. If you have currency that is marked, they will tell. They will be able to scan you and tell. And it will be a felony, and you will be immediately imprisoned. And so if you do not want to accept the mark to buy and sell your products, and you think you're going to hoard currency, think again. Because any that is so marked with this metal strip will land you in prison where you may get a PhD through my brainwashing in political science, if that's what you want. So that's why I think they've marked the new currency. Now, this fellow said that it was a wonderful system because it got rid of money. There's no crime and drugs. He said there's no counterfeiting because that is it. That's your mark. He said that it means there's no extortion. There's no wrongful use. Unless someone cuts your hand off, they're not going to be able to use. Now, where, if you don't have a hand, do you suppose this mark might be placed? Yes, isn't it kind of convenient right up here in the forehead? Because that would be equally convenient to pass a wand over. It may be true that this would get rid of some crime and drugs. It may be true that you couldn't have ransom paid anymore for kidnapping. He said you can't even cheat on your income tax because everything is done automatically by credit debit. But isn't it just a little bit too prophetic for anyone? I don't care what your religion. A gentleman came up and said he's a practicing Buddhist for 25 years. Good. I don't care whether you're a Hindu or a Jew or what you are. Isn't that just a little bit too much? And if you're not a Christian and you don't care about the Bible, you've never read Revelations, where John, 2,000 years ago, was able to see this vision, and I don't think John understood IBM or computers, but he said, I see a time when they will place a mark in the right hand. Why not the left hand? Well, because if you understand anything over in the Middle East, what you do with the left hand, you don't even present your left hand for anything, not even to accept a drink or to pat someone. It's a disgrace. So it's in the right hand or in the forehead. He saw that, and it was a mark, he said, and it contained the number. And he said the number of man, and it was 666. Now, what is interesting, and what this gentleman did admit to, he said, Bo, it's true. The framework of the computer equation of this mark is 666, because you got to have a start point, you got to have a middle, you got to have an end. He said, but I guarantee you there was no Luciferian malice of forethought. We didn't go in there thinking that we were doing this as a mark of the beast. He said, Bo, we could have used 111 or 333 or 999. What is the glory of God? They just happened to pick the exact number that John had seen 2,000 years ago. So if for no other reason, friends, isn't this warning enough that this is something you should stay away from? Now, of course, it says in there, and this, gosh, I hate again to give you the sermon early, but in the Geneva Bible, it said very wisely, I believe. It says, if you accept this mark. Now, this is what the theologians wrote in the margins that the Pilgrims brought when they came over here in 1600. It said, if you accept this mark, this is a divorce from Christ in the baptism of marriage that you have with Him. That's pretty well said, I think. Again, don't care what religion you are. If you're no religion, it should be significant to you that 2,000 years ago somebody copied down a vision that they said God gave them, and it's coming true. And it's not coming true in some Orson Welles movie. It's coming true in the real world right here. Here's some of the literature. It says Singapore has a new ID card up its sleeve, an electronic ID to track its citizens. Very quickly, it's all in your document packet so you can look it up and read it later. Here's another one, Time Magazine, peddling Big Brother. Foreign governments are snapping up surveillance systems that are produced in the West. Here's a young girl, an Asian, showing her ID card with barcode that is her. And we have, here's two articles. I just recopied it because my original was getting pretty ratty. It didn't come out too good. But yours you can read loud and clear. Here are two articles showing where Congress is trying to get a national ID card for us with a barcode on it. And good conservative Republican Alan K. Simpson says, it does not offend me to have a national identification card. Plastic card may eliminate checks. The banks now are pushing to just have plastic rather than any check. We're moving very rapidly. Here's what's exciting, because now it comes from the card to the chip. In the 12th day of November of 1991, the City Council, by the way, your copy looks better than this, the City Council in Los Angeles passed a law that said pets would be marked with a microchip smaller than a grain of rice that would be inserted in the nape of the neck if they were fur-bearing. If they were reptiles, it goes up the other end. Where will Congress receive their mark? That's the question. Now, what is exciting about this to me is that this was November, and here's one that is dated April the 2nd of this year, microchips now being used all over the United States to mark animals. Do you think that they have researched and developed and produced a microchip smaller than a grain of rice, insertable by a normal hypodermic beneath the skin to make pet owners more responsible? It is Rip Van Winkle time, America. Friends, if we don't wake up, we're going to be like Gulliver. He was a giant, but he got tethered to the ground by threads of tyranny, and that's precisely what's happening today. I will hold aloft your banner of liberty, but I cannot march on Capitol Hill and single-handedly restore constitutional government. It's going to take the American people.
Will you take a stand? Will you decide now that you're going to do something for your country to clean up dirty government? Please join me.
And we're going to have an American government with only one agenda, and that is the healing of the United States of America.
God bless you. God bless America. God protect our prisoners of war. Join me, please.